Welcome back. We're now talking about Chapter 11, Religious Discrimination in the Workplace. This is protected under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, as we have already discussed. So they say that there are two things you should never talk about in the workplace. First being finances, the second is politics. I like to think the third is religion. This is something that is very important to individuals. Everyone has their own religious beliefs, their own religious take on life, and it's something that can make for stimulating conversation, but usually doesn't apply in the workforce. From the employer's standpoint, we need to make sure that our employees are free to worship as they see fit, to have items on their desk, to wear certain clothes, to eat certain foods, but we also have the reason behind making our employees comfortable that are practicing their religious beliefs and making our employees comfortable that do not practice religious beliefs. So finding that balance between every different type of religion that we practice in the world. It's a tough job to do. Enter human resources. So there's a great slide as we're first looking through the PowerPoints for this chapter that breaks down the major religions of the world, Christianity taking up the largest chunk of that, but there are all different types of religious beliefs in today's workforce, which is fantastic. It makes for a very diverse workforce. As we've talked about before, diversity is a fantastic concept, but with it brings a lot of challenges. So employers need to find a way to balance this, really. There are actually a very small number of religious discrimination claims that have come to the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Center, but we have seen a tremendous rise in claims since September 11th. Interesting fact for you there. So for all public employees, there are three elements that are guaranteed. Our employees are guaranteed the right to due process, they are guaranteed equal protection, and they're also guaranteed the freedom of religion within the workplace. So those are three things that each of our employees are guaranteed. The majority exception to that is a religious institution. They have their own rules and regulations, and they can be a little bit more choosy, if you will, with employees that they have and the religions that they serve. There are two key concepts that employer needs to be cognizant of when dealing with religious discrimination in the workplace. The first being, we need to have a duty to reasonably accommodate our employees. Something to keep in mind for religious discrimination is we have a duty to reasonably accommodate their practices, not their beliefs. That's a very important element. That means that our employees should be comfortable to wear the clothes that they choose if it fits within our company structure or company profile. So if we are managing McDonald's and all of our employees wear uniforms, then it would be important for all employees, regardless of their religion, to wear that uniform with a small accommodation made if it includes specific tattoos or earrings or headdress, as long as that does not impede the employee's ability to do their job. We as employers have the duty to reasonably accommodate. Employers also should not be placed under any undue hardship. So as we are making reasonable accommodations for our employees, that means that we would not be working harder at accommodating our employees than they are working for us. A great example of this is if we have an employee who is a Seventh-day Adventist, needs Saturdays off for church, we can reasonably accommodate that if we have other staff to step in and take care of their duties. If we only have one person to work on Saturdays, they're it, and there's no one else to fill that need, we could not reasonably accommodate. There are a few things that are factors in undue hardship, the nature of the workplace, the type of job that needs some sort of accommodation. If we have someone who works in the back office, doesn't have a lot of interactions with outside customers, other employees, then what they wear shouldn't be any issue for their job, or what they have in their cubicle should not be an issue if they work from home. And it's a little bit trickier when we're dealing with multiple people in the workforce and or they're working in a customer service setting. So things that we should keep in mind. Religious discrimination is something that is very prevalent in today's workforce. But as we noted earlier, it's not as it's not brought to court, I guess you would say. There aren't as many cases as there are gender discrimination, sexual harassment, things of that nature. But something that we should be aware of for those of us that are participating in Simpson University at a private institution. Again, there are different rules and regulations. If this is a topic that you might be interested in, it might be a great research paper for the end of your course or another burning question for you. So read through your PowerPoints, read through your chapter this week, reach out to me if you have any questions. Keep doing a great job.